Hello friends, this is Worm and it's Monday, which means it's time for another episode of Exotic Recrafting, the series where we take a look at weak, underused, or straight up bad exotics inside of Destiny 2 PvE and talk about how we can make them better. And up on the menu today, I have an original D1 exotic, mind you. But it was released back in Season of Opulence, and when it was released back into Destiny 2, lots of players got very, very excited about it, and it had a whole, it kept its same vibe, but it was a little bit better than it was back in D1, and it got a catalyst that made it even better. Unfortunately, nowadays, I don't ever see it used, and of course, I take it in to Onslaught and I try to use it, and I'm just not feeling the potency that this weapon felt like it once had way back a long time ago. So the weapon in question is none other than Bad Juju, if you probably guessed by the title of this video. And Bad Juju is, let me start by saying this. First of all, I know there's a group of you out there who are cultists for Bad Juju. Okay, I have stumbled across y'all before, and y'all are not somebody who I really want to mess with. Mind you, I am not trash talking Bad Juju. All we're going to be talking about today is how we can buff this weapon. So please don't come over here saying it's the best thing ever. Like, the majority of people would probably agree with me that it's not the best thing ever. We're only going to be talking about buffs to this weapon. But with that being said, I think it's important that we talk about what Bad Juju does first. And Bad Juju, of course, is a kinetic exotic pulse rifle. It's got the perk String of Curses, which basically states that getting kills will refill the magazine. Sorry, I just smacked my little chair's button down here. Will refill the magazine and grant a stack of String of Curses. A String of Curses grants increased damage and increased super energy for the next kill. So you've got your base super energy when you get a kill. As soon as you get a kill, you get a damage boost, and then you get more energy for that next kill. And it lasts for 3.5 seconds. With a catalyst, it lasts 4.5 seconds. That's what it does. Oh, it also, I don't know if I said that, it also reloads the magazine every single time you get a kill. So on paper, Bad Juju sounds like it's a really good weapon. It's got a damage increasing perk, which we're going to talk about here in just a second, because the damage increase that you actually get from this perk is a lot. I think it's a lot more than people even realize. You get additional super energy, which is never a bad thing. And of course it reloads on kill. So again, all these things on paper make Bad Juju sound like it's a really strong weapon. So first of all, I'm going to take a look at the actual damage stacks that you get for this weapon. Of course, each stack of String of Curses that you have is 20%, not 10%, sorry, 20% additional super energy. So at ×1 stack, 20% damage, not super energy. We're going to talk about super energy in just a second, but it's 20% more damage. So at ×1 stack, it's 20%, ×2, it's 40%, all the way up to ×5. That's where it caps at. ×5 is 100% more damage. That is nothing to scoff at. That's going to definitely help you cut down ads pretty easily. Especially in lower tiers of like Onslaught or something like that. Like you can go the whole round without reloading, dealing absolutely massive damage to everything. You're getting a lot of super energy back. Again, on paper, it all sounds really good. But we should also talk about the super energy that you actually get back. So at ×1 stack, you get 0.8% additional super energy. ×2, it's 1.1% additional super energy. At ×3, it's 1.4. At ×4, it's 1.7. And at ×5, it's 2% additional super energy. So if I'm not mistaken, I've got some notes here. I think I don't know how old they are or anything, but if I'm not mistaken, every kill you get in Destiny 2 counts for basically 2.17 or 2.2, somewhere in that area, % of your super. That's not including the base super cooldown. That's not including the damage that you actually did. That's just for the kill alone. You get 2 points. We'll just round up to 2.2. You get 2.2% super energy. So with Bad Juju at ×1, you're getting 3% super energy for that kill. Then when you go up, you're going to get, let's see here. I want to say the way it works, I want to say it's 1 point, the percentage for the super energy gains are based off the base damage. So it's 1.1% more damage. So when it goes up to 0.3, it goes from 2.2% to 3% at ×1 to 3.1% at ×2, 2.3%, 2.3%, 3.3. I don't know. It's really confusing how it works, but it's not multiplicative. It's not 1.1% of the previous value. It's just 1.1% of the total value that you would get at base. So basically at ×5 stacks, you're getting 4.2% super energy per kill. And that does stack with, you know, your intellect. So if you have high intellect and it's got that base cooldown that's faster, the amount of damage that you're dealing with the weapon is also increasing your super. So you can see how adding these all together, they're giving you big chunks of super energy, especially once you get to that ×5 stacks. If you take 3 or 4 bursts to kill an enemy and you get that kill, not only are you getting that 4.2%, but you're also getting all the super energy that you had from the damage you dealt to the enemy. Like it definitely stacks a lot. So again, it sounds really, really nice on paper. Unfortunately, I think that once we get in practice, that's where it falls off. And you know, we've talked about what the weapon does. Now I want to talk about how we can first of all increase its strong suit. Like let's identify its primary weakness. To me, its primary weakness is its tiny magazine. It's got a 27 round magazine, which effectively means you have 9 shots, 9 bursts to get a kill, which again, if you're getting your stacks up there and you're in at level content or low level content, like this is not a problem. But once you start getting into higher level content, 9 bursts, even with ×5 stacks, is just, it's not enough. Like this thing definitely cuts through ads, like, you know, weak ads like thralls, dregs, you know, acolytes, stuff like that, cuts through them like butter. But once you start getting captains and knights thrown out there on the field, you're going to start struggling, because if you can't get a kill within 9 bursts, you have to reload the weapon. Reloading the weapon, of course, is taking time away from string of curses. It's resetting your string of curses if it's taken too long. You know, you have ×5, you get that reload, you start shooting at a beefy enemy. By the time you dump your magazine and reload, string of curses is gone. And in my opinion, that's one of the biggest weaknesses of the weapon. So the first thing I think would be a wonderful change to see to happen, Bad Juju, is something to help the magazine. One of two things. Either number one, we're looking at a stat increased, and that is increasing the actual magazine size from 27 to maybe like 36 or even 42, something like that. I think that would be a really solid option for Bungie to do. Or the other thing we could look at is, of course, getting some sort of auto reloader perk to it. Now, obviously, the weapon itself has an auto reload aspect to it. You know, you get a kill, the auto reload, but I'm talking about something like 4 times a charm, triple tap, something like that, something that's passively reloading the magazine as you're shooting the weapon. Okay, because even with just triple tap, like you're taking the weapon from a basically 9 burst up to 12 bursts, if I'm not mistaken, 12 or 13 bursts, which is substantially larger than what it is. Of course, you have to hit precision shots, but that's still better than nothing. Now, I think optimally, it would be better if Bungie just increases its base magazine size. And I think that perhaps the reason why Bungie hasn't done this so far is, of course, because Bad Juju would be very, very strong. Like, could you imagine if Bad Juju had like a base magazine size of like 42? Like, you would literally never, ever have to reload the weapon. Like there's no way you can't get a kill in 42 rounds on a pulse rifle, right? Of course, you know, neither here nor there, but I don't know if that would be a realistic idea. I think that would be the better of the two. Just having a flat, larger magazine would be awesome. But again, throwing triple tap or 4 times the charm, I say triple tap because triple tap just, I think, would make more sense considering it's a pulse rifle, it's shooting 3-round bursts anyways. Or maybe we could see something similar to other weapons that we've seen in the past, and triple tap, instead of giving you 1 round, it gives you 2 rounds back. You know, that way you land 3 crits and you get 2 rounds back in the magazine, which again, it might throw off the magazine balance because it's 3-round bursts. Every other 3-round burst weapon in the game has a, you know, a magazine size that is divisible by 3, so you can get an even number of bursts out, so you don't have to have an awkward situation where you only fire 1 or 2 shots and then have to reload. But I still think that that would be a decent idea. Now, the next thing that I actually feel like would benefit Bad Juju more than anything else is if it was craftable. And I haven't said this about any of the exotics that we've seen so far, but Bad Juju to me does feel like it should be a craftable weapon. And the reason why is, you know, the aesthetic about it, the vibe about it. You know, look at our crafted weapons. They're all very decent. Overall, you know, Osteostrig is a decent weapon, but it's not necessarily the best choice. Now, yes, you can make a build to make it the best choice, but never is it like the best choice. You know, you don't go into onslaught like, oh, Osteostrig is the absolute god tier choice of weapon to use. Like, it's the best thing in the world. And I think it's kind of the same way with basically all exotics. Like Whisper of the Worm, we just got as a craftable weapon. Like, Whisper of the Worm is a great exotic. It's a great option, but is it the best choice? Maybe for some instances. Same thing with Bad Juju. Bad Juju could be the best for some instances, but not everything. Also, it's got hipfire grip. And this is one of the things that just, it drives me crazy about Bad Juju. Why did Bungie decide to put hipfire grip on a pulse rifle? Like, hipfire grip is not a perk I ever find myself using on Bad Juju. It's not a perk I would ever find myself using on a pulse rifle in general, because of the way that pulses recoils are. Like, even if you gave us like a Tex Mechanica pulse rifle, even if you gave us Dead Man's Tail level of hipfire accuracy with a pulse rifle, you're still going to end up missing shots because of the way that pulse rifles shoot. Pulse rifles don't shoot in a perfectly straight line. Like, they have that inherent recoil in each burst. Why is hipfire grip here? I don't know. And I think this is the opportunity we could make it craftable. And instead of having hipfire grip, we have other options in this column. Now, what other options we could look at? I already said triple tap or 4 times a charm. We can leave hipfire grip in there just for old time's sake. But, you could throw in, say, rapid hit. I know that a lot of people, myself included, really like rapid hit on pulse rifles. So maybe that's one that we could see added to it. I want to know what other perks you think Bad Juju could have. So go in the comments and tell me what other perks, Bungie could add to Bad Juju if it was craftable right there. But with that being said, that is, hipfire grip, it's just not where it's at. And I think having it craftable so that we could change hipfire grip or any number of other perks would be better. And so those are like I guess the smaller changes. There is a bigger change that I had in mind to the weapon, and it's basically just a fundamental rework of how the whole perk here works. And the idea that I had is take Bad Juju, okay? You take its String of Curses perk, and it still gives you the damage boost every time you get a kill, but instead of having it activate on kill, what if every time you landed like a precision shot, you got 1 stack of a String of Curses? Sorry, I couldn't think of the name. You got 1 stack of String of Curses, and instead of stacking up to 5 times, it stacks up to like 30 times or something like that, where every time you land a precision shot, so in 10 bursts, you could get up to times, well, I guess 10 bursts. Yeah, 10 bursts, you get up to times 30 stacks. And it does basically the same thing. So at 30 stacks, it gives you that 100% extra damage, but along the way, you're meeting those other mile markers. Also, getting a kill would count for 6 stacks. So if you land 3 shots and, you get a kill on the final shot, you're getting, 30, or you're getting 8% super energy, or 8%, not 8% super energy, you're getting 8 stacks. This way, Bad Juju has a way that it can kind of chain back, those getting those kills. Like, instead of just having to get kills, which I know that's kind of the identity of the weapon, but again, against those higher held targets, like knights, I'm just gonna use a knight, for example. Like a knight, you sometimes cannot kill a knight in 1 full magazine. And by the time you've dumped your entire magazine, all 27 rounds into that knight and reloaded, the perk has been deactivated. Having Bad Juju's String of Curses stack on precision hits instead of just kills would alleviate this by a lot. Okay, because, I'm up to times 5 String of Curses. I really don't want to lose it, but now all there are high health targets on the field. Okay, I'm gonna start shooting this knight and landing crits. I can keep times 30 stacks of String of Curses, which still does 100% damage. We'll talk about super energy in just a second, but it still does that 100% extra damage that it's doing, but now you don't have it fall off quite so easily. Like, it basically just adds a level of forgiveness to the weapon, because now if you dump all 9 bursts into a target, or if you have a catalyst like triple tap, you dump all like 12 bursts or whatever, but you dump all your bursts into a target, you can still reload and continue shooting without losing all of your stacks of String of Curses right off the bat. And would this make the weapon too powerful? I mean, honestly, I could kind of see it being a little bit on the OP side. 100% damage that basically all you have to do is hit precision shots for sounds pretty intense. But again, Bad Juju, like, it's suffering in most of its other stats. Its magazine, we already talked about, is small. Its range is incredibly low. It's got great stability, but its range is really, really bad. Like, it has really poor range. I don't know. I think that's rework would definitely help the weapon, but I also think that maybe we could actually see a rework to the super ability energy that you get. So currently it gives you this extra super energy on a kill. So you get a kill at times 5 stacks, it gives you that flat plus 2% additional super energy on top of it, which is very good. But what if instead of working like this, instead of working this way, when you got a kill with it and you had a stack of String of Curses, it actually reduced your super's cooldown. So not only, so now instead of getting that 0.8% super energy for that first kill, or after that first kill, you now get tier 10. It just takes you to a flat tier 10 intellect. And then at your next stack level, it takes you to tier 11, then tier 12, 13, 14, 15, all the way up to maybe tier 15 super energy, or even beyond that. Maybe have a super cooldown multiplier. That way, if you're constantly getting kills at ×5 stacks, like the kills are contributing to your super bar, the damage that you're dealing is contributing to your super bar, but now it's cooling down a lot faster. I mean, like a sense of, remember when Geomags, you could sprint around and top off your super, like maybe a level like that speed, or maybe if you're in, what is it, Mayhem, and your super cools down that fast, maybe a cooldown speed like that when you're at ×5 stacks. That way it's really helping you get those super stacks back. I think that doing that would probably help Bad Juju out more than just giving it more super energy. Because one of my initial thoughts was, what if we just said, hey, you know what, for the first stack it's 1%, second stack is 2%, third 3, 4, 4, and then of course at the fifth stack it's 5% super energy. But again, keeping it that 5 stacks, a little bit more difficult to do. I think that, as long as you have at least String of Curses at 1 stack, like your super already getting that base faster cooldown. I don't know. I think that would be a great rework for this perk, and it doesn't take away from the identity. You still got the damage boost, you still got the auto reload business going on, you still get that super energy, but now that it's coming in a different way, you could build really into super energy. Maybe if you have tier 10 intellect, if you have tier 10 intellect, it stacks even higher. So if you're running tier 10 intellect and you've got something like, what is it, Phoenix Protocol on, or Storm Dancer's Brace on, something like that, you could get your super back in, what, like 10 seconds, as long as you're able to get kills. I think that would be really awesome. I think that would help a lot. And really, I don't think there's any supers, I don't think this would necessarily break the game, because there's no supers that or I don't want to say there's no supers, but in any given boss damage phase, like the majority of people are using defensive super. You got bubbles, wells, you've got tethers. Some people might use a gathering storm if you're a hunter. Some people might use Nova Bomb, stuff like that. But in a boss damage phase, I don't think Bad Juju is really going to help out all that much, because you get that one super off. It's like, okay, I got it off. Now what? Now you have to, get more kills, not focus on the boss. You can't look at the boss. You got to focus on getting your other kills, blah, blah, blah. So I don't think it would necessarily be overpowered. But of course, I want to hear your thoughts. We've talked for a long time about Bad Juju. We're almost at the 18-minute mark right now. So I want to hear your thoughts on Bad Juju. Again, I think it is a really fun gun. I think it could be better. And that's the point of talking about Bad Juju today. But of course, let me know your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel about Bad Juju? Do you think it's good? Do you think it's bad? How do you feel about the changes that I suggested here? Do you like them? Do you not like them? Or do you have any of your own personal changes that you would like to see? Like I said, tell me all that in the comments. Of course, if you like today's video, do me a favor, drop a like. It helps the channel out a lot. Subscribe for more daily Destiny content. Guys, do me a favor, watch the videos you see here on the end screen, because for whatever reason, YouTube thinks you'll like them. See y'all in the next one. Bye for now.